much more powerful and impactful videos. Also join us on the comment section, on the chat section. Chat us up. Tell us what you think about the topics of the day. What insights do you have about the topics of the day? What's your favorite meme for the day? And let's have an amazing time. So let's get into today's episode.
Welcome again to Firebrand Nation News Monday edition. Remember to use the hashtag Panelist Monday on all social media platforms on JBN Television and Firebrand Nation and Firebrand Nation Kenya on Facebook. Kama kawaida, nimefurahia makufurahia. Nimefurahia. According to the Gospel of Abel Mtua, nimefurahia sana, niko na wakurugenzi wenzangu. It's been a while. Firebrand Joshua, Reverend Joshua, it's been a while. Lakini naona kama kuna shida yake akiwa watu wengine hawakuji. Unafanya especially wanaume. Ile siku wako wanaume wawili wa Firebrand.
Exactly. Mimi ni bazu. Nisipokuwa wanaume wawili wanafaa ku represent.
Sasa ni wewe ndio una represent wawili.
Yeah, like mimi ni bazenga. Nikitoka lazima uko na kuna uzito fulani
like, so inaweza kwa to field na two other.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Do you get it now?
It must be nice.
I still don't get it, but it's interesting.
Very interesting.
You have to get it.
It's the audacity for me. It is the audacity for me.
The ultimate audacity.
Introduce yourself.
The OG will always be the OG.
Sips water.
Okay.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Joshua Joe Kamakawa, Firebrand Joshua Joe, if you want, if you like. And I'm excited today one more time to be in the show, manze. Mimi leo ndio kusema kwa show juu yenyewe. Naona I'm the only guy. Yani
Wewe ndio kusema nini?
Umama ndani yao.
Leo nitakuwa na mama mingi, kwa hivyo msijali. Anyway, apart from that, there's much, as I usually say, there's much
so you should Google
to say about me. So if you want all the details, want to know what I do, how many pair of shoes I do have, how much I used to go to my barber, I mean, just click Joshua Joe on Twitter, Joshua Joe Instagram, Joshua Joe Facebook, Joshua Joe YouTube to get the latest information about me. Yeah.
I will not add. Let me go to the lovely lady. I refuse to add.
I just feel like I should. I am a go-getter. If I want it, I'm go-getter. Okay. Anyway, I realized I always introduce myself as a counseling psychologist by profession, but I actively practice counseling psychology. So I am Firebrand Antonia Ngaiwa. Studied counseling psychology, actively practice it, but not professionally yet. And I am a Firebrand, like I said, Firebrand Antonia Ngaiwa. Karibu nisahau majina.
I've got a moment of silence.
It happens with psychologists. Anyway.
Well, mimi sina. I don't think you really want to know who makes my hair.
How many shoes you have?
But yeah, I write sometimes. Like there's just those two tiny things about me that I cannot be in at one go. But yeah, the much you know, the less the better. See, the much, the less the better.
Less is more.
Yes. Yes.
You know the funny thing is that you're the chick and you're like less is more, and then the dude who is supposed to be less is more. It's like the amount of shoes, how much I use on my hair.
No, I just said people to Google.
No, it's cool. We are not hating.
Don't worry, they shall Google.
It's just that we have been reversing roles since COVID happened.
Yeah, apparently.
A lot of things are going vice versa.
Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Amani Women's Day.
I think so.
Ni maisha.
Moving forward swiftly, let's get to the meme section. Finally, the meme load is here. It's been a while. It's been a while. We have felt your gap, although now I don't think I felt it anymore.
Gap ni ya memes peke yake.
Unataka kusema mimi inakaa kama meme? Lakini ni sawa.
Wewe ndio umesema, mimi sijasema kitu.
Usijali. Memlord amefika, nguvu za umeme ziko hapa.
Allah. Oh, we usually do this damn rolls, please.
Tuseme
Sasa ni wakati.
Na sasa ni wakati wa
It's been a while.
You guys are not ready for these memes today. These memes are on another level. Lakini acha tuanze hapa chini. Ati hata kama ni kuanza maisha, mbona ujipanguze na jeans ukitoka bafu? Hata Mungu alisema njoni kwangu jeans mulivyo.
Ai, lakini kujipanguza na jeans.
It will tear your bottom.
I have never seen this. Ineka unajipanguza na jeans.
I have used that term very loosely. Tear your bottom.
Jeans.
Jeans.
Afanya kana kwa ngumu.
Jeans.
Jeans ni ya comrades.
Ama una
Comrade power.
Kudab tu.
Kuguzisha
the
tu.
water. Kwa sababu unlike towel.
Ndio mwili isikie jeans ilivyo.
Would be jeans ikakutumia sandpaper.
For real. Hiyo ni tu. Ni overload.
Jeans.
Jisikie jeans. See jeans. Sorry.
Okay. Ini interesting. Buy 25 GB plus WhatsApp at 3,000 shillings using alafu hizo options. Airtime, M-Pesa, ama unaulizwa back, ama uende home. Alafu msee akaandika hapo. Anyway, jokes.
Amish mtu angeza kutuma. Like literally unaweza kutumia Safaricom. Send.
Anyway, guys,
You know,
this is some very crazy texts, by the way.
I feel like all Kenyans
So,
wajita wangesonga hapa.
anaangalia anapata unapata kwa airtime, hana airtime. Alafu ukiangalia M-Pesa akona fuliza. So haizi nunua. Haizi nunua 25 GBs. Alafu kurudi back home anaangalia ni jokes tu.
But
I was just joking.
No, nini hapa hivi, when you want to buy bundles, unakuanga na an amount.
Yeah.
Enye wanakuliza.
So yenda aliandika kwa amount you wish, alafu hapo juu napanga amount you wish to spend.
Exactly. So akiweka 3,000. Yes, yeah.
Sini kwa jokes. Sini jokes. Hizi vitu.
If that guy was not trying himself, alikuwa anajaribu watu wa M-Pesa like.
Ako like Safaricom amjui jokes. When she thinks she's cute, but her foundation doesn't match her neck.
It happens.
The life is part of life.
Sijui kama umeona watu wanakanga ni kama wamevaa mask hapa chini River Road hapa.
Watu wagani?
Kuna watu wengine wanakwanga tu hapo tu nje hapo tu. Wanakuitanga hivi. Kuja. Wao ni kama wamevaa mask. But the face and the neck azifanani, kumbe si mask, ni makeup. Hey, I'm telling you.
Exactly.
Squeezy people
Exactly.
they like
We have
watu wako
advanced.
beyond
They
this,
have.
like the different.
Hapana.
Remember to blend
on your face.
Remember to blend on your neck.
Wewe ulisikia wapi? Hiyo ni advanced.
Kama kwa makeup tutorial kuna kwanga na pro.
Bas.
Rookie.
Hii ingine nakwambia, lakini kuna watu unaangalia hivi mtu unashangaa. Kwanza sasa akwa amevaa hata akwa ameficha neck. Uangalie uso. Alafu sasa akwa amevaa short dress. So uangalie miguu. Ukompare uso na miguu. Unashindwa.
Leo unakwanga umefika kwa mguu kitafuta nini?
No, there are some things that are inevitable. I mean utaona miguu. Kwanza wacha nikwambie, ile mbaya kabisa ni mtu anatembea mbele yako. So maybe umeona miguu. Si ndio? And then
Unaona miguu ni kiatu. Unatafuta nini kwa?
Ni sawa tu, kitu yote yenye natafuta ni sawa. Whatever you are looking for, it's okay, but first umeona miguu.
I like vile to divert.
Alafu umetembea past this person. Sasa umface uso. Zebra.
but it's very usual, and like when, not unless wewe ni light skin ama you're completely dark skin, but wale wako katikati kama mimi, it's not the face na the miguu.
Zinafaa kupelekana hivi. Hakuna vile, wacha nikwambie.
Karibu nipatie an example.
No, tupatie example. Lakini usitaje majina. But honestly, it's sometimes unashindwa kwani ile mafuta inapakwa uso na miguu ama remis alafu
kuna face care, facial care, na huko kwingine kuna kama tuna lotion,
Vaseline na remis.
So maybe you could pata special treatment,
right? Lakini how?
Yeah, but still the color, you know, kuna aspect
hapo kwa color nimekata. Tuko na evidence wote. Haya, twende next.
Anyway,
sorry tuko na evidence.
Kuna mtu ametukaribisha Kenya, ametuambia karibuni Kenya. After dinner date, Americans watasema thank you for the nice time. Thank you for the nice time dear.
Kenya.
Lakini wa Kenya, nitumie hizo picha tumepiga zenye niko peke yangu.
Ametoka date. Keyword date. Niko
peke yangu. Sisi ndio tumepiga pamoja. Nikiwa peke yangu.
Anataka kutesa nazo. Na hiyo dina sasa yeye amenunua.
But captions zuweza.
The audacity.
Akiweka hiyo chapo hivyo captions.
Nakwambia anauza kuuza. Na unaweza fikiri yeye ndo amelipa hiyo chakula. Hiyo chakula amelipiwa, lakini venye anaiuza huko nje ana make profit.
Kwa nini unaongea kama uko na experience?
Ana make si unajua ni Kenya. Mimi ni Kenya. So najua hii.
Unajua tabia zao.
Najua tabia zao.
So this would be the right place to share. Tuko kwa counseling psychology.
Nitumie aje? Nitumie hizo picha ulipiga alafu hizo zenye niko peke yangu. Nitumie hizo kwanza.
Uliumizwa like ilikuwa hard.
Wewe ukienda date alafu itishe picha zake peke yake. She was there for the food.
Mimi ati tu uko na kamera nzuri, simu yako nzuri.
Lakini mbona useme zako peke ile niko peke yangu?
Ni Instagram yake amani.
Alafu kidogo umetuma tu hivi pa. Kabla hata blue tick amesoma. Ushaona status. Ashatesa kwa status.
And see wanacha room for
na shaika mpaka filters
mysterious. Yes, like ikuwe a mysterious encounter. Assume who I was with. Unaona like analeta hiyo fikirieni.
Tafadhali wa Kenya.
Let's do two more memes.
Anyway, on to the other meme. It's another weekend. Remove 300k from your account and spoil yourself because this life no get part 2. I really hope K is for the coins.
The part because this I no get part 2.
So nafikiria tu yeye anaweza toa tu 300 coins.
Ala. 300 bob.
You're going to spoil yourself. It better be coins. It better be coins.
Hiyo ndio level anaweza dispoil naye.
Bas.
And now hii naye itakuwa meme section kama tujaangalia hii. A rare representation of usimuone hivi anakuanga mtu mzuri.
Huyu ni mtu mimi najua.
I love this. Usimuone hivi anakuanga mtu mzuri. By the way ukiangalia hiyo lori usione hivyo.
God looks at the heart.
Iko na maji safi ndani.
But still
Mungu anaangalia roho.
Usimuone hivyo anakuanga mtu mzuri. Do you have someone like that? I know someone. Big up Stacy.
Akina anakuanga na
Stacy Aponi. Anaweza kupatia maneno hapo. Kama mtu ni mgeni hapo unamwambia usimuone hivyo. Sio ameongea hivyo. Anakuanga mtu mzuri.
Because kuna mtu aliniambia anamuogopa. naogopa juu ya one encounter and I was like naogopa Stacy. Anyway, we know her differently.
Clean water. That's what matters.
Yes. Ukiletewa hii nini hivi.
Mimi siwezi kunywa maji.
Umeitisha maji alafu unaletewa. Yes, imeandikwa clean water like lakini yenyewe.
Afadhali ikuwe safi chafu nje, safi ndani.
Unajuaje ndani
ni safi?
Ansafi.
Labda nangenika. Ulikuwa kwa hiyo nini? Ama wewe ndio ulitengeneza hii mimi.
Unafanya kazi na kampuni.
Unajuaje? Hii imepitia hapa hivi tu Kiambu hapo chini hapo. Hapo ndio nimepata hiyo mchanga hiyo vumbi. Lakini ilikuwa sawa, ilikuwa safi. Safi kabisa. Usione hivyo. Usione hivyo, inakuanga mzuri.
Sasa naelewa.
All right.
Let's wrap up.
Let's go to the dentist. Daktari wa meno. Tell me what's in your mind. A dentist make money off people with bad teeth. Then why would I buy toothpaste that 4 out of 5 dentists recommend? I mean, why? Why?
I know, right? Like the irony.
I want to know what is in their mind.
The irony
What's in their mind? Yeah?
The irony.
So a dentist makes money out of people with bad teeth.
Right.
Still. Then the same dentist come to recommend the toothpaste that those people with the bad teeth used. Think about it.
But
please don't overthink. Don't overthink.
Let's just keep it at that level.
Don't overthink. But you tell me if you will trust that dentist.
Yeah, feel mtu ajisikia romantic na bado yuko single.
But
maybe for fresh breath rather than good teeth.
Let's keep it at that. And the last and final view. This made my day. In a funeral, whites, he was a good guy, we miss him. So unaona tu vile amevaa alafu anakuwa ameweka black was a good guy alafu machozi inapanguziwa tu hapa. Kenyans mmelia mmeinuliwa kutoka chini. Alafu Kenyans umetoa wapi nyama? Mimi niko na cabbage tupu. Period.
Of importance is food.
Mazishi.
That's it.
Nitango the last send off.
That's it. After kulia mnainuliwa, you dust off, unaenda kitchen. Ulipata wapi?
Nyama za mazishi zinakuangaza kujuana.
Unajua wale people wale VIP mnakujanga mnaitwa.
Shambangwa hii ni tent ya Nairobi.
Kwanza
watu wa Nairobi kaeni kwenye tent.
Kuna kuanga na tent ya Nairobi. Alafu kuna kuanga na tent ya kudisappear. Si unajua hiyo?
Wale wanaitaka.
Wale wanitoka tunasikiaje?
Zile speeches zinaendelea nyinyi mnaitwa.
Bas. Kwanza nakwambia ukienda mazishi huko kuma ushago huko. Nakwambia you better be married.
Right.
You better be married. Sababu unajua the ladies ndio wanakuanga huko kitchen.
It's facts by the way.
Unakujanga unapata tu mzee amechukua mzee wake. Amepotea. Baba nani ako wapi? Alienda. Mwingine amekuja amechukua baba nani. Wameenda. Mimi nakwambia masingo anabakingia hapo akiota moto usiku.
Baba nani na beshte yake anaambia beshte yake kuja.
Twende.
Alafu anarudi like after an hour sio ameshiba.
Ameshiba.
Na maji ama soda. Like
Singles mazee mmekaa hapo hakuna mtu anawachanua. Sasa ndio hao makabeji. Umetoa wapi nyama?
Watu walishakula nyama, ni mnaletewa the remaining.
Mimi nilishiba. Ile nyama ilikuwa.
It's very true. Kenya
mazee Kenya nikaza jela, alikaza boarding school.
Hapa sisi tunaitanga catering companies.
Yes, sorry.
Anyway.
Let's dive straight to the discussion of the day. This is like a couple of stories put together, but kama kawaida, I don't know what's happening. Of course, we always talk about the youth because the youth is what we represent, and that's why Firebrand Nation was formed. But the youth, I have no idea. I'm really trying to wrap my finger. I don't know. Because we have 3 stories. There's one published on 10th June by Citizen Digital. Police in Kericho, have launched a manhunt for a Form 3 student at the Ainamoi Secondary School after he attacked the school principal, Godfrey Rono, and stabbed him in the head with a 4-inch nail. So you already imagine like the 4-inch nail. The 18-year-old student swung a wooden plank at the principal on Wednesday, June 9th, driving the nail into the teacher's head. According to the Kericho County Police Commander, Silas Gishunge, according to accounts, the bloody attack came after the principal asked the student to pay shilling 7,000 fees balance. According to the police chief, the principal had ordered the student's locker to be taken away until he paid the debt. A day later, the student would ambush the principal as he was leaving the school, bludgeoning him with a wooden plank. Students who witnessed the heinous assault raised the alarm, drawing the attention of bystanders who took the teacher to the hospital. According to preliminary investigations, the boy who is still at large has a checkered history of threatening teachers. His behavior had been reported more than once. That is just one incident. Because a 4-inch nail, a plank, and straight to a teacher's head. And no. The second one is a man was Sunday night stabbed and killed by his 17-year-old son after picking a quarrel with his wife in Mikindaine, Mombasa County. This was published on the 7th. According to a police report on the incident, the boy, who is a student at Kajembe High School, sourced for 2 kitchen knives for their house and stabbed his stepfather severely on the stomach, chest, and face, and disappeared to an unknown destination. The deceased was then rushed to Mikindeni Medical Center, where he was pronounced dead on arrival. The incident was reported to the police by the boy's mother. Efforts to trace the suspect are underway, reads the police report. The body of the deceased was moved to Coast General Hospital. And to the last story, a Form 3 student in a police custody after he attacked and killed his father at Barotin village in Londiani, Kericho County, confirmed the incident. Area Chief Sarah Sigay said an altercation ensued between two after the son arrived home and found that the father had sold a cock belonging to him without his knowledge. The boy is said to have confronted his father, who instead told him off, triggering a fight. The suspect picked a club and descended on his father, striking him several times on the head. Neighbors rushed to the homestead, rescued the 50-year-old man, and rushed him to Londiani Sub-County Hospital, where he succumbed to the injuries while undergoing treatment. After committing the offense, the student surrendered himself to Londiani Police Station, where he being held, awaiting for arraignment. So those are just 3 different stories. And all aged 17, 18 years of our youth. It's a chilling moment, especially how, for me, what was more chilling was, and probably all of us think differently, which is okay, and I respect that for the fact that we're all human beings, but being a Christian and reading some of the comments, because most of the comments were like, the father should not have sold the property, which there's no issue, he's already 17 years old, so he's more or less an adult, but killing your father because of a cock, now that just goes below the belt. It doesn't matter what happened. For me, for my opinion. I don't know what you guys think about the 3 stories.
Well, I always have the Nini way of thinking of it. Definitely psychological.
Definitely.
So look at these 3 students. One has a history of being violent with teachers, rude and all those things. And this other one stabs the stepfather because the stepfather
cheated on the mother.
Cheated on the mother.
Yeah.
And then there is this one who the father sold coke in ilikuwa yake. So these people, they're not just acting on impulse. It's something, for one of them, and imekuwa clearly mentioned, it's something that has been happening. So there is a way as a teacher, although it's not what happens in Kenyan schools. And I think probably the British system, schools, like in a Braeburn groups of schools, have a counselor, and which is important. So these people, umetuma mtoto home because of school fees. Some of us in my era enjoy sababu chill time as in break from school.
Right.
But then again, you have to sit them down. Okay, you have not paid fees. What could be the reason? And how do you, like, handling school children ni important, like in a level of unashuka to their level, trying to understand them. Like this other one who aligonga mzazi kwa sababu ya coke. yes, probably alikuwa ameplania and all those things, but yes, it was it was his property. But then it comes to elewane as a parent and a child. When at this, let's talk.
Right.
Let's understand each other. Tusikue impulsive in
Making
actions
decisions.
and all those things. So, and them being, some of them having continuous, like ni something imekuwa build up over time, a character that has been building up
Definitely,
over time.
yeah.
It's something that should have been like something in inakuwa molded. Like when you have, this is my thoughts. As a parent, kuwa na mtoto wako, like have ile ground ya kuelewana.
Right.
Si ile ya ku orders. Let's sit down, okay? I sold your coke kwa sababu I needed probably the whatever amount
This
it
amount.
cost, ilikuwa ina cost for. Yes, it was your property, but I needed the money. And probably singeza kuuliza ama yes, I am the parent, I do what I want to do, but explain yourself kinda sababu nini ya mtoto. And to teachers as well, yes, ni mrude. Unajua kuna kwanga na that thing ya anakwanga tu mrui ni nature yake, but would you just kindly mind sit down with the child, with the student, try to understand, like people don't just hawakuzaliwa rude. Kuna kwanga tu na something they are projecting. Yeah, so try to understand and communicate in a certain way to, certainly I am condoning their acts, but in a way just communicate in a way that is understood, understandable, comprehensible to the student, to the child. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would just agree with what Tonya says, because most of the things, such happenings, before they happen, there are triggers, and they don't just happen. It's a build-up of events. A scenario where you have the student versus the teacher, it means the student has been feeling either underrated or doesn't belong. So they get to a place and they feel they can't hold it anymore.
Right.
They can't take it anymore. So they have to react.
Right.
And this day that the teacher triggers, this is the day now they decide this is it.
Right.
And another thing, most of the students are using drugs. Most of the young people that are doing these things are using drugs. Like the one who killed the father,
Yeah.
was using drugs. So that also is an influence, and it also it's something that adds to these killings, especially from the young people. Yeah, but even with that in mind, I would still take it back to parenting and the relationship between the parents and the children. Because if these people had a good relationship, there's a way of doing things. You don't just wake up and do something weird to the parent or the parent and the vice versa. If there is that mutual agreement, if there is communication, because communication also is very important.
Right.
It's very important. Most of the times, or sometimes, as Tony has said, if the child feels ordered every other time, they feel ordered. They're not involved in matters family and being consulted when you are making even decisions in the house, then it doesn't make them feel like they belong in the family.
Right.
And so this might make them rebel and start feeling, and sometimes it's if maybe they have a good relationship with the mother, but not the father, they'll end up feeling like it's the father who is making this family go down. You get? So the best thing is eliminate the father. So it's not something that this guy woke up and eliminated the dad, but it's something that he contemplated for a while and thought that if dad would get out of this family, then we would be okay. And that also would make me think the conversation between the mother and the child, right? Because if the father is playing the mom,
Right.
it means that the mom probably had
Shares.
a conversation with,
Definitely.
with the son. Yeah. So it's also something. When it comes to parenting, at what point, to what extent should a parent share to the children about their partner, the spouse? You get? Because that's what has been. It has made children to take sides. Maybe, and most of the time, the moms they've gone. They are the ones who
turn the children.
win.
Definitely.
They're the ones who win because they
spend the most time together.
they spend most of the time with their children, and then they'll be like, "Ona hata baba yako hajafanya," you know. So the child will be like, "Oh, kumbe dada anakwanga mtiaji."
Right.
So when they get, then the same dad haja provide, for example, haja provide to the family, and then bado anataka kuja alete vurugu. Unaona? The children will be against their dad.
Right.
Yeah.
But still, I have a question. I know that it's okay to have communication with your parents, which is cool. I don't mind all that. But when we see the trend that has been happening, especially the 21st century trend, the millennials, like squeezy, I'm a millennial, so every other thing is meant on millennials. Yeah. But when you see most of the time, for me, my cousins, for example, but I was raised differently, so I don't think I'd be like the best person to explain that. But the way my cousins are raised and the way I was raised, like you see that African mom eye, that you can feel it even when you're seated in the seat. She just looks at you and you're just like, oh, I'm in trouble. And you stop whatever you were doing. The kids nowadays, I feel, because especially most of their parents are more or less age mates, like with their kids, because you give birth when you're younger, so you're basically a child. But that's my opinion. You're basically a child growing up, and you're raising a child. So both of you are still trying to you're still trying to figure out maturity. So you, as a 20-something-year-old or a 20-year-old, you're still trying to, because most parents nowadays are between 20 to 25. When you pass 25, you're running late in this game of giving birth. So you're still trying to figure out your maturity. And then you're also trying to raise a kid. So both of you are two kids trying to figure out life together. So I feel they're being, what's the right word? Wanabembelezwa sana. Because when you see how our parents were raised, those days were Hitler. And those guys are still very good. And I'm not saying that our grandparents were the best, but it looked like the Hitler style worked for a while. It worked probably very well, in my opinion. And I'm not saying that was the best way. Yeah, there was no option. But now that there are options, if I sell something, like nowadays, if you do something as a parent, your kid is like, I am going to finish you. And they actually finish you. So I don't know, me, I'm conflicted in between the communication. Because also when you look, there is God the friend and God the one who weeps. So where does this communication comes to, like where do we draw the line between parent communicator and parent authority? Like on this, we are not talking about it. You've done wrong and that's it.
But
Just go first.
well, communication doesn't necessarily mean you relent on the road.
Right.
Communication is help me understand from your perspective. But ukikosa, lazima kiboko itembee. As in it's as Christians, we understand, spare the road, spoil the child. As in inakanga to some verse over there, some proverb over there, but it speaks. It's very profound. Ata God, like you said, he is the friend, and he never atuachangi to end it.
But you see, my point, and then you continue, sorry to digress. The 10 Commandments, it was you shall not, it's not like it is you shall not kill. Period. If you kill, there's a consequence. So that's my question.
Like, yes, parenting, I feel like parenting
is
needs
what
to
I
be
was.
intentional. Nimefika ile point nataka kuwa na mtoto, like you said, sometimes mtu ali just bumping into is the wrong term. Like someone just got pregnant unexpectedly.
Really?
As in there's no way to put it better. But someone just got pregnant without them wanting to, intending to. So Najwa, you will not think about, okay, this is how I was raised. let me try raise my child differently. Probably I didn't like how my parents, as in, how do I, or you don't put thought into bringing up a tiny human being into an exemplary human being. You don't put to thought such things. Like you said, a child bringing up a child. You're like, I need to have my life. Na wewe pia uko hapa, so you'll just grow up venye utamea.
Like a weed.
But I don't think there is, communication is important, but discipline as well is important. If I would say.
And then you know, there is punishing, but there's also making the home to become a military camp. You know, and that's what the former generation mostly did. They made sure that the home is it's military. If you try, ulifanya kwa nini?
Hata kwa nini
Hata before
ulifanya?
Kwa nini?
Exactly.
Kwa nini?
You know, like the already descended.
Yeah, but I feel like just the way the country is getting more democratic and just the same thing with families. The only thing that I think is the Bible says, train a child in the ways that he should go, the ways of God, and he will not forget when he grows up. So it doesn't say that beat a child or.
But isn't that part of the training?
Wait, first. It doesn't say beat a child. It says train,
Right.
which means punishment is part of the training.
Okay.
It means educating the child is part of the training. So being patient with the child is part of the training. So if the parent doesn't have even patience with the child, it means that as a trainer, he has failed. You get? As a trainer, you failed. If the parent doesn't have that, if the parent cannot have, it's always their way, then as a trainer, you failed. Because sometimes it doesn't have to be your way. You get? Even as a parent, it doesn't have to, because there are things that a parent loves, but it doesn't mean that whatever they love about their children has to go that direction. So there's a way of, sometimes we compromise, but we maybe a parent makes sure that the main thing is the main thing, like values. We can't compromise on values, such things. You get? So for me, I think I will still narrow it down to and bring it down to parenting. Training a child in the right ways, being there for the children, because even when you punish a child, the same way you brought about God, when God punishes us, you're still able to go back to the same God, even if he punished you. Why? Because he's a father.
Right.
Yeah. So you know that there's that aspect of a parent. But how many children can still go to their parents and say when a parent after punishment?
Right.
You get, especially after punishment. Because sometimes as parents we punish our children not to punish. No, unasemanga unagonga ujinga ugonge mtoto. Yeye unagonga ujinga na mtoto.
You're descending on both.
Yeah? So I think just making sure that we are not losing the child.
Right.
You get? We are losing the ujinga, the rod in a ujinga, but we are not losing the child. I think that's the main challenge that we probably have.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Interesting. Me still.
And we're not like we can't just hide the fact that you're the pampering part.
Right.
That is also failing as we're talking about training. No, you say you can't punish me. Unajua mtoto wangu akitaka tu kitu, hata akitaka kitu kidogo, you get.
Alafu there's another time you kuangalia.
That is not, because training means there are things you're shedding off from someone.
Definitely.
So kama ni ujinga, huwezi sema ati wacha tuache ujinga na kuanga nayo. Ondoa ujinga kwa mtoto. You get. So for me, I think we can't do away with that. We have to be harsh if a child goes out there and picks some weird behaviors from
Right,
people,
right.
when they come, they need to know that this house we get
don't
it right.
condone this, right?
Yeah, we don't condone this. So, and they will get to understand. It's how you put it. They usually say that it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Right.
Get. So you might say, even saying sorry, it's how you say it.
Right.
It's not what you say, it's how you say it. So even the parent is how they say it to the children. That's what matters. Na vile ataambia mtoto kitu, and that child will, maybe they did something yesterday, and today that has been the kitu inatumika kumnyorosha, unajua. Hata jana you know. Then
I have a problem with that.
Yeah, the child will be like, kesho hata umzae stamshow. Because now the trust issue.
Yeah, true.
So
Actually,
yeah, the trust issue. If you have the good trust between the parent child, then the child atakuwa anajua hata nikimes, like the first person I can tell is my parent.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And actually, being on that point, I also feel at times our parents, but I'm still advocating for the parents, descend. But not
Descend upon this mountain.
Of course, there's some few years which you will have to not kill your child, but descend on them, because it is not them; it's what is inside them. It's not the devil destroying. You're beating the devil.
The problem is, what do you do after descending on them?
Exactly. Of course, I'm talking to them. I usually feel that our parents' fears are usually imposed on us. So, like if they messed up, because most of the time it's usually if they messed up or their sibling messed up, so they have to like police you around. If somebody in their family got a kid at teenage years, so they have to police you, so that and I don't mind that, because you see, being a parent, this is your generation, this is your DNA that you've given birth to as a lady, and for a guy, yeah, you get what I'm saying. Yeah. So I usually feel that there are times they police, and as you say, the training, if they do not explain to you why they're doing that or why they're beating, why they're descending on you, you will end up doing the same thing, or just basically sitting you down. Because I usually feel the one thing that helped me with my mom was sitting me down and be like, okay, this and this happened. When I was in Form 4, I had this and this and this is what happened. So walking into it was like, okay, I already know this happened. So I wouldn't want to repeat it, but not because of descending, just because she explained. So I feel our parents also should have moments of sharing.
Yeah.
On this point. So do you think we should go back to public punishment? You know, like the way mtoto ni wa jamii. If I see you, I will, on behalf of your parent.
No.
Well, unajua venye law imekuja kukua,
Ngoi.
the law is crazy. Mkono wa sheria ni very long. We can't go around needing
Kishika watoto wenyewe.
another person's child. Hey, utashikwa, utapeleka. Kwanza those people who I'll call my lawyer.
Atakole.
And I don't think actually all parents agree to that. Letting someone punish my child. I don't think it shouldn't be a thing. Acha mzazi adili na mtoto wake.
Mzazi adili na mtoto wake, sababu mzazi ndo anatambua mtoto wake vile yuko. Mzazi ndo anajua potential mtoto wake, yeye ndo anajua makosa ya mtoto wake.
But individuality ndio inaharibu hii maneno. Hata historia kwa even in business, you know, it's me. And for the rest, you all defend yourself.
If there is something in the society that you find a child amefanya makosa, you can tell their parents, you can report. The much you can do is report. There was this thing I saw, which I don't think is good. Then now the parent will know, can take it from there. Because unajua huyu anapunish mtoto out of ana information.
Right.
So maybe mtoto sasa venye unasema anakuanga hivyo. Maybe there's that aspect of
Simone.
Clean water.
Anakuanga mzuri. But basically you'll find that we have different personalities. And at one child's personality might be offensive to another person according to their view. And to you as a parent, you're like, this is actually a strength to this child according to where they are going.
Right.
Maybe they talk a lot, or they just like asking questions. There are children who like asking questions, and they'll ask grown-up people questions.
Right.
And then there are people who will take that as disrespect.
Yeah,
True.
once I headstrong.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even
Yes.
teachers will look at that child and go like,
Yeah.
I do not want this child in my class.
Yeah.
And as a parent, you'll be forced to now, what do you do?
Yeah.
Right, that
School
silence
your
your
child
kid,
or
yeah.
something.
Yeah, you silence them and silence their potential.
Right.
Yeah. So I think wacha mzazi yeye ndo anaelewa mtoto. Let them do.
Anakuanga hivyo.
Yeah, let them
They deal with their own wahala.
Yeah, tusiende public punishment.
If I see you on the corner.
Tutaku. Yeah. I just think what we need to, the society can do, and everyone, for me it's always that value system.
Right.
Moral values. If we have the moral values, a child grows up in a society knowing what we believe in, what are our moral values. You get what is the right, what is decency. You understand?
That's really complicated. At this moment in time, this era,
With everybody
a
on their own
society with a common value system.
We still have I still believe we have the good morals that
Like
can
the
still
universal.
the universal moral. Let's say things like respect. Things like respect, it's universal. You don't need to go to school to learn how to respect people. You just have to use your common sense to
Is
respect
it really
people.
universal? And common sense is not that common anymore.
I mean, it should be.
It should be, but it's not.
It's a choice.
Yeah.
It's a choice. Anyone that doesn't choose common sense, they've chosen not to use common sense.
Wow.
Yeah. because if you cannot respect people, for example, do you need to go to school to learn to respect people? You don't. You get. You don't need to go to school for you to learn to greet people, say hi to people. You get. You don't need to go to school. These things are common sense. And even if you never went to any school, like the brain that you have, not unless it's it's empty. Somebody said that an empty stomach is better because it alerts you. But
An empty brain.
I wouldn't call it common sense. I would call it your innate nature, because all of us have been born with that will. So the will gives you the innate nature, like the good and bad.
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily call it common sense.
common sense. Okay, but those are the values I'm trying to say. Like in every family, because there's in every, especially not even complete family, just in every family, people have when you wake up in the morning, you say hi to people. That's a value system that is in let's say that in a family. You get.
She begs to differ.
It should be. But it should be like when just the way it's common. Just the way you see the way it's common to every family. When you wake up, you have to brush your teeth. Like it's common. You understand? You have to wash your face.
Just so. Let's show it's common.
You have to take a shower. No, those are things that are taught like in school. Like when you're young, you go to school and you're told. Yeah, exactly. Even think about it. Yeah, so.
But I agree.
That's why people who don't do it is a choice.
I agree, a common value system, but definitely won't come from the society. Probably your religious people have different religion, but your religious mali una grow spiritually, maybe that. You see how in reference Muslims stick to their nini, as in their religion and their teachings and all those things. It is from their religious affiliation. And also for Christians, watoto wako wakikuja Sunday school, whatever they pick up from there, it should be upon your the value system should stem from. When we look for the society, I think
something altogether. Awesome. So at this point, I'd like you to give your parting shot before there's something I had forgotten to do. We have to do it before we close. Let's do your parting shot. Let me start with the Miss Ngaiwa.
Well, what I'd say we have dimmed down to parenting somehow. But then we kind of forget about those children who probably wamekuwa brought up na a guardian, someone who really do not care about your bringing up, you coming into being into this good, awesome, intelligent grown up. Really, they're just children out here who do not have someone to look out for them. Hence the school. I mean, the school should be somewhere where children, students are brought up, not just focus on 844 now, Soma Kitabu, science, social studies. No, it should be a place where you groom a child. If they do not have a strong family background, it should be a place of focus. Like a school should be at least a backup place where it focuses on the psychological, emotional bringing up of the child.
Awesome.
And also there are many things we forget, that the environment also matters. The people who your child hangs out with, as in there are many factors to the upbringing to a child. It does not just go to parenting, although parenting is important, but there are these many things which only, I feel like communication and interest in wanting to know a child, that is what it will illuminate to coming to know, okay, now this is what I should deal with when it comes to bringing up and raising a good, nurtured, beautiful child, soul, mind, body, spirit. Yeah.
So wholesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, my parting shot would still narrow down to our moral values. The value system should be looked into, and the church is one avenue to bring sanity in terms of moral values back, and also our schools, because most of the things, most of the time that children have between, let's say, 1 or 2 years to 20 years is in school. Most of the time, most of the months of the year they are in school. So the schools also need to have that aspect of teaching, especially also our culture. As Africans, we have a certain culture, and by the culture we have very good things that we can borrow even as Christians from our culture. And if we can go back to that, borrow that, respect for older people, communication, how you communicate, if we can blend that with what we've learned from the Bible as Christians and what we've taken from the Western world and mix them together, I believe we can still have a sane society and we can have healthy families.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Like that. I'd like to add, for me, there's a thin line between a parent and being a friend. Like, just know how to balance in between being a parent and being a friend. Then again, training up a child is individualistic. I also agree that our schools need to add more or less parenting in their system, because this is a generation you're raising. So before we wrap up the show, yesterday, Firebrand Mundia engaged Miss Pastor Mona. So I'd like to shout out to Firebrand Mona and Firebrand Mundia. Congratulations on your engagement and on the wedding that is happening. We are not allowed to give the date because it's their wedding anyway, so they're the ones who will invite. Anyway, thank you so much, guys, for your awesome remarks, and I'm glad we usually have different ways of looking at things. That is what makes FNN what it is. And until next Monday, love God and love others passionately. God bless.
Hi guys, thank you so much for watching this episode. If you would like to join the Firebrand Nation movement, go to our website at www.firebrandnation.com, sign up and someone will get in touch with you. Also follow us on our social media handles at Firebrand Nation on Instagram and YouTube, and Firebrand and Firebrand Nation KE on Facebook. Remember to love God and love others passionately.